This is Laura from Beth's Creative Stitchery in Columbus, Ohio, and I wanted to take a little bit of time and tell you about an upcoming class that starts in about 10 days. It is called 360 Days to Beauty, and the whole concept and the idea of this class came from a book called Daily Beauty, and it is a very interesting book. It's full of different, mostly inspiration and idea, and it's based off of the idea of taking a everyday product and making a square out of it, about a 3.5 by 3.5, 4.5 or 4 inch by 4 inch square, and you sew them together and you create a wall hanging. It's a great way of exploring many of the techniques that you might already know in sewing, or many of the different things that your sewing machine can do, and basically exploring every potential avenue of creative sewing that you might even think of. And so the whole idea of this class is that as a joint combination of a group of people making these squares, then what we can do is make multiple squares of the same one and then share them among your fellow classmates. So the wall hanging that I want to make is going to have about 180 squares in it. And so if you think that every one of these squares may take me a half an hour, and no more than a half an hour really to produce, that's going to be a wall hanging that well, I would hate to say I don't want to lose interest in it before I'm done, but half the battle sometimes is just coming up with the creative energy and juices to make the square. Then, if you make a square, then you could just simply repeat that square 3 or 4 times, depending upon the amount of students in the class, and then we'll share these squares with our fellow classmates. Now, I've already started working on some of my squares, because I need so many of them. And what this class uses is, it starts off with the basic foundation of these round beauty pads, and you placing them in the center of a foundation. And from there, anything goes. So I have some of the items that I have been using. I have saved some leftover thread from some trimmings, some projects. Actually, got real excited, and instead of throwing them into a garbage one day, I put them into a bag, knowing that this would be a great thing to use. I've also saved the bags from oranges and avocados, and I don't remember what was in here, but these are this was a material that was in something I mail ordered. I don't even remember where it came from, but it's not really paper, but it's actually some sort of fiber type product. I have also some leftover upholstery fabrics that were from a company that we had some chairs from. I couldn't throw those away because they were far too interesting. So they ended up being a perfect thing for this particular project. I have some fabric that I got at a trade show free. So I'm real excited about using that. And what kind of sort of started this was that we had some fabric, some silk that we had mounted on the back of Timtex for the silk that we sold. They were our sample cards. So I actually started with these, and they were actually 6 by 6, and I ended up cutting them down. And even my extras I kept, and I ended up sewing those together, and those have actually made the background foundation for some of my pieces. Now, some of the things that are in this book are some painted backgrounds and some other medium other than sewing. Sewing is the primary medium, and I don't have a lot of paints or work in that medium very much at all. But there are other people that do, and so this is why the sharing could be a very great thing. I have all sorts of decorative threads that I want to exploit, you might want to say, and so I plan on using a lot of those threads too. So you can see that right here, the first row here are some of my playing around with the vegetable wrappers, the fruit and vegetable wrappers. and that blue kind of fibrous product I showed you a little earlier, and the extra threads. And so I have been started off kind of simple with some of my thicker threads, playing around with those, and just exploring many different, it's kind of an endless type of process. But the catch is that it's going to take a lot of these to create a wall hanging. And by sharing, I can make 3 or 4 of these and share them with somebody else and get some unique and different squares back also to add to my wall hanging. So this class is probably going to run at least once a month. The whole idea is we'll get together, we'll share ideas, we'll show a few techniques, we'll talk about some products and how you can incorporate them. We'll check each other's progress, and hopefully by the time we get to the end of the year, we will be putting an end to this project. Might end up going into January a little bit or into February, but it'll be a great way of exploring some wonderful techniques and putting together some interesting fabrics and items you have at home that you maybe don't even know what to do with. So, and also the fact that we can share these with some fellow sewers and get some different types of techniques in our wall hanging. So hopefully you'll join us for this class. It starts, like I said, in about 10 days. And in fact, if you see this video after that time period, we probably can join you. We welcome you also. And so join us for this class. We're calling it 360 Days of Beauty, I think. So give us a call at the shop and Beth's Creative Stitchery, and come join us for this sharing class.